Hello everybody and welcome to Boreal Falls, this somewhat new 1v1 map. Now we've seen it once on the channel and you asked to see it again, so here we are. Now our contestants today is Barcast and Raider. Barcast above 50 OS and in the 54 range, and Raider desperately trying to make it to that 50 OS rank. So we'll see if they're able to pull off a victory versus Barcast or not. Now, this map, we've seen it once on the channel, so we'll zoom out quickly to give you a bit of an overview, just so that you know what the deal is. Now, if you're playing this map yourself, you'll have a snow effect across the map. I've turned that off just because it messes with the recording, basically. So unfortunately, some of the nice effects just kind of mess up with everything, so we'll leave it off, but you will have that. Now, start positions are, well, could be either here or where Raider has placed. Same with Barcast position. This rear position would give you a safer start by placing like an LLT there and one there and, like, you know, maybe two here. Would give you a very safe start. However, it would mean it would take a lot longer to get to the center of the map. And in the center of the map, there are 4 metal points right here and then 2 at either side. Now, considering this is the most direct route to your opponent's base, generally players will take the quickest route to your opponent. And that kind of goes the same with pretty much any 1v1. So yeah, players have positioned themselves here with a quicker direct route to their opponent's base. Now, the problem with this start position, although it does give you quite a lot of metal extractors quickly, and should being the keyword here, give you a fairly safe back area to build up eco. It does open you up to early raids quite a bit, especially if you don't have decent vision, a scout unit. Although, let me just click, where's that radar? There. So this actual green bit is what's visible, bear in mind, even though the ring shows all that. If you're not sure why that's the case, you need to go watch my radar and vision video. So this grunt up here, for example, although it's in the ring, won't be spotted. So this guy could actually walk all the way around here and then wouldn't be spotted until it entered this line. So it could get quite a long way down before being spotted, and the same way on this side. So yes, a bit difficult to defend, but yeah. Now, on the sides of the map here, there's quite a few metal extractors, also geo, and also a bunch of energy crystals, which actually contain the smallest amount of metal. Each one of the large crystals containing 25 metal each. So that can add up quite quickly. So we see 195, 110, and 95. Not the biggest in the world, but it does mean that you can offset maybe a couple of solars by getting a Resbot out to eat all that. And then on top of that, there's a lot of cliffs around here that are going to make early, well, just make holding that area with radar a little bit more difficult. And also transition over to vehicles a little bit more difficult. Can these guys go over that ridge? No. They can't go up here, though. So they could shoot down into it, maybe. But both players right now playing Cortex, and both pumping out just a ton of grunts here to just try and cover as much land as possible. This grunt here, not being paid attention to by Barcast, has had plenty of opportunity to kill this con down here and is now only just noticing it. Oh, it was so close to being finished, but this con now will get caught. There is a Resbot literally just sat in the wings, so it's not going to be the end of the world. There we go, and he does lose it. But this back one also will get caught out, and this is exactly what I meant earlier on about how hard it is to kind of cover those areas. Barcast may now choose to shoot the wreck. Yes, he does. Quite know what this movement is. There we go. Wreck destroyed. And see, radar didn't see it at all, and that is down to where his radar was. So yeah, prime example really. Radar, although somewhat good, you've got a big gap, which is why you're going to need multiple radars in the if anything, Barcast is going to need another radar on this right hand side. But still, a delay there for radar, losing not only 2 metal extractors but a constructor. He did lose the one on the right, but obviously that's been resurrected already. And neither player actually pressuring too much in the center here. The fight is focusing more on the flanks, if anything. Barcast did not really lose too much in the way of the fight over here. He has rezzed stuff, so it's not the end of the world. Army value, though, looking relatively even right now. It can move around quite quickly with all these little skirmishing fights taking place. So there's no real point really paying too much attention to it just yet, at least until like the final lines have been drawn in the sand. One thing I am noticing though is Barcast is not really bothering to focus on moving towards the center here. It looks like he's kind of giving away the metal extractors in the middle, but he's more focusing especially on this right hand side flank. However, Raider has 2 constructors now on that right hand side, and it will maybe end up with Radar able to expand a lot quicker. Barcast does lose that fight in the center, and with that leaving 350 metal behind. Not only that, but the 4 grunts on the bottom here get kind of just left to their own devices, and they're just going to run straight into an LLT now. Oh, Barcast focusing on killing this res bot rather than the cons, probably because he knew he wouldn't be able to stop the LLT from going up in time with that small amount of grunts. Well, a whole 1 isn't really enough. And as we look over the bases of the players, we can see a vehicle factory planned here for Raider. For the glorious Pounder unit. Oh, hail the Pounder. Whereas Barcast is doing nothing of the sort. He's building a load of energy converters, and now with wind back up to its full strength, they will start being of use. At least until this energy storage gets built, and then it's going to be a little while again before they're being used. But you can see what we were talking about earlier on, how Barcast is using this back area for scaling. He does need to be careful that he holds the flanks though because of this. And Barcast also transitioning over to vehicles here, and you can see already pounders and incisors. That is the name of the game when it comes to Cortex these days. Just more and more pounders. Meanwhile, he's doing a decent job on this North Hill. There's not really much here. He has a single con that's just kind of meandering around. Slight mistake there by Barcast building 2 radars. I don't think he was intending to do that. But the pounders will kind of make all these grunts obsolete. And interestingly enough, Barcast is choosing to hold off here because he's got walls queued up and everything. Now, it kind of makes sense because if he does try and hold up here, not only can he get flanked from there, but you can also get like an RT or something, like a vehicle RT just in here and like bomb all his defenses and make it completely useless. So at least where he's defending here, if units do try and like bomb him from range, then he's got, you know, a hole that he can move out and maneuver around. But he is, by doing that, forfeiting quite a lot of ground to Raider on this bottom side. Con goes down almost instantly in the center. Pounders started showing up though. And whatever's left of all those units will go to Barcast. He needs more pounders, probably. Oh, poor combat there. Just thrown in to get absolutely mullered by these grunts. Oh, now this is a sizable force by Raider. I don't think that pounder will make it in time. There's quite a few LLTs, but still a self-D of an LLT may be required here in order to break down some of this. Ooh, to be fair, if it wasn't for that pounder and incisor showing up, these guys will have actually made it through. They do get the con and actually do manage to break through. They haven't secured the area for the Resbot to come and like eat everything. Barcast is already there. But these guys will get quite cleanly mopped up by these incisors if Barcast moves into intercept, that is, which he does. And you can see Raider attempting here to get that reclaim just as quick as he possibly can, but Barcast is already on it. So I was about to say he's not resing anything, but there we go. Now he's resing. Trying to sneak in a bite or two there. Barcast has started off with air transports here to build power around. Also, it's going to help him with these pounders, moving them to where they're needed. This is a quite wide map, and we can see here that all it takes is, you know, a bit of a cheeky move, have these tanks just go around this bit here, and then you're open. The tanks can't follow, but the bots can. This is kind of a bit of a problem with switching fully over to vehicles. You are limiting yourself. But Barcast kind of having control of this top area. It's kind of like almost a mirror, if anything. So Barcast holds the top section, Radar holds the bottom. For how long for is a different question. Shurikens have started to make an appearance, which they're both playing Cortex. It's not surprising whatsoever. Incisors not focusing the metal extractor down though. Ooh, that's a lot more fighters Raider had. Ooh, but this is a big push from Raider up here. This is a very, very large amount of units, but they were positioned poorly. And that meant that Barcast was able to get some good damage off there. He did lose kind of initial bit of defense. That con you can see in the corner desperately trying to build walls to save the day, but it will not happen in time as they get through and get the constructor. This army's kind of just been left here. Now, don't get me wrong, it's going to easily deal with what's there. At least for now. Mostly at the moment, he's probably concentrating on this force at the bottom here that's just slowly kind of pushing forward. No shurikens of Barcast's own just yet, which is somewhat surprising. Two pounders versus the entire army will not last very long. Interesting. Some lashes been produced here by Barcast to just try and pressure this middle section a little bit. As we take a brief second to look at the stats while this army kind of does its thing here in the center. Metal produced advantage Raider by about 4k. Metal a second difference is kind of fluctuating right now just due to all the reclaim. But Barcast really struggling for army. He's been struggling for army for a while now. He's at 66% army value. Reclaim currently going to Raider, but I think Barcast has enough units here that he'll be able to get all of this section here. But bear in mind, most of that is his army. Doesn't bode too well. Twin cards going up in the back here just as add a bit of defense, but surprisingly, Barcast is kind of letting this con bot get all of the reclaim it wants right now. Pounders don't deal very well with shooting over Rex either. Rosbots do come in here and try and nick some of this reclaim, but Barcast's just not able to pump out enough units, really. We've got radar selected at the moment. Let's sell at Barcast. You see, he just doesn't have the metal. Raider, though, with a very, very large stockpile of metal. We may... So here's his choice now, is he can decide to go Tech 2. He's got enough metal to build it very quickly. Or does he double down on Tech 1? He's winning quite heavily with Tech 1. But it seems like he is deciding to go Tech 2 instead. And obviously, this is basically going to put a stop to Raider's unit production for a little while whilst that Tech 2 transition happens. And he's hoping that he's going to be able to make up for that by being able to produce Tech 2. He's going to lose the con turret here. He's very lucky that fighter did not go that way. Just carrying a con turret around just in an air transport. Just, you know, like, why not? For a second there, I thought the con turret was working whilst being carried, but no. It's just the oh, he is going to lose it. Yep. That was a bit of a foobar there by Barcast. You can see that Raider did the same, but he actually dropped his con turret off rather than leaving it in the air. Simple, easy mistake to make, though. Meanwhile, at the top, there is a vehicle here eating up everything whilst the other one is slowly building up. Some defenses and such. This could be built into a serve potentially. Meanwhile, most of the metal extractors are indeed owned by Raider here. Not only did Barcast lose the flanks, but he also lost the middle of the map. So, not really what Barcast was hoping for. Barcast has transitioned himself to Tech 2 now, knowing that his opponent is kind of like hummed back. He knows he's going to be going Tech 2, so he has to match it. And interestingly, we see here is a Tsar as the first unit out of the factory rather than a constructor. Whereas we see from Raider, he has pumped out 3 Tech 2 constructors first before doing anything else. He really wants to get that Tech 2 economy up and running as quick as possible. He already has 1 Tech 2 max. All of his factories are actually stopped momentarily there. It's getting a bit more fighters, but this Tsar will make a big difference on the front line, especially with such large grouped up units. And the annoyance factor as well of these RTs, if only they were actually targeting stuff. There you go. They are actually hitting where the dots are, but unfortunately just not hitting anything helpful. And there we go. First Tsar shot fired. And a lot of damage dealt. Barcast needs to make use of this Tsar while he has the advantage here. A Tsar coming out for Raider here as well. Raider does have an economy advantage, at least for now. He kind of needs to deal some army value damage by taking some of this out. And the Pounders march forward. Oh, Raider turns around. This is exactly what Barcast wanted as the Tsar shots make their way in. Not as much damage as maybe he was hoping for, as now Raider Tsar has made its appearance. And the bot kind of heavy army that he has here is not what he wants. Oh, the group up. Radar jammers from both parties are going to make this a little bit more difficult for each of them to be able to do anything. Very, 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 very forward bot lab here. I don't know if that was quite enough ferries, but yeah, I think he's probably planning on spamming grunts here with the idea to try and gain some vision. He could have gone vehicle lab though and spammed scouts. But I guess he wants the ability to be able to get res bots. Seconds are in production for Barcast. As the Tsar's trade blows. Neither player really making much of a move on the flanks at all. There are some Tech 2 Tigers going up to the left-hand side flank for Raider here. And surprisingly, Barcast doing the same thing, but in a really odd position. A Tsar being airdropped to the flank as well. That's going to help a lot. This Tiger, let's be honest, is dead. Yeah. Some Tech 2 going over to the right-hand side for Barcast as well. Kind of just splitting everything up. And we see actually the first set of stuff out here is the res bots. Keep that Tsar alive. And here goes Raider. One Banisher already. Several Tigers and a Tsar versus a Tsar and some Tech 1. The Tsar is not much longer for this world. He's trying to focus the Banisher down. Does not manage to get it done in time, and interestingly, he was trying to focus the factory there. Surely Raider knows he can just push right through now, pretty much. He might be worried about shurikens. This is why he's brought his army forward. He's also attacking on the north here. Come on, use that Tsar. Yes. Banisher also out from Barcast here. Oh, that was a nice volley of Artie there. Doing some work as we quickly flip up to the top. Geo gets destroyed and pretty much everything that was on this top side gets killed. So did the Tsar. Surprisingly, the Twin Guards may just be enough to save the day here as the Tech 2 Constructor stays alive. And the center is back again. Basically anyone's match. Well, 21% difference on metal produced right now. You would think that Raiders should have this in the bag. You know, this is a huge amount of metal difference between the two players. But army value, it's not gone into that. And if it has, then there's a lot of it left on the map somewhere. 3.6k and a 3.8k. This is being well and truly devoured by Barcast up the top here as quick as possible. But with very little defense left up here and the entirety of that middle army making its way up to the top, is Barcast even aware that that exists? He does not know. Banishers will be very annoying for Raider in the center. But Raider, rather than going into the middle here, he knows that the Tsars are very, very slow. He's just going to go elsewhere. And as the attack is prepped for the north, Barcast has nothing up here to stop this whatsoever. This could just walk right through. Barcast trying to do as much as he can to eat everything that's here. There's a lot of metal, which he will get back up and running. But surprisingly, Barcast not focusing up here on defense whatsoever. He's trying to get those metal extractors up and that geo back up as quick as possible. Both players e-stalling hard right now. Banishers unable to get their shots off correctly. That one lands though, and lands at just the right time. As the remaining forces of Raider here get stuck on the Rex, and Barcast able to save the flank, at least for now. This top flank is looking extremely tenuous. There is quite a lot of shurikens, not enough fighters. Barcast hasn't really managed to do a successful raid in quite a long time now. He's been purely defensive for at least the last like 5-10 minutes here. Finally able to attempt a little bit of an attack. Those banisher shots just went nowhere though. Is this pop-up actually going to get built here? No, he runs away just in time. But still, that, I mean, yes, that's dealt with some defenses there, but this army will not be able to continue any further as they're going to get stopped by these tigers if this Tsar doesn't do the job. Ooh, the banishers do turn around in time though, and these tigers, with the impulse of the banisher and Tsar, are proving a bit hard to get up that hill. Don't forget, things from a high ground as well have a bit of an advantage. Might not look like much of a high ground, but if we flatten the map here and go to one of the angles that is relevant, this is the same hill. You can see it's quite a big of a hill. These ones are obviously sharper, but it doesn't look like it's much of a hill. But yeah. 26 minutes in, neither player really has a game-ending plan here. Oh, and the Cerberus gets built up the top. That is huge. This was Barcast's weakest angle, and now has it become a bastion of strength. That Cerberus will force Raiders units back entirely. He did almost just kill himself, though, with the Cerberus. And not only that, if he gets the radar, which he obviously can't see, it introduces a blind spot for Raider here that he's not really aware of. And you can just see how much damage that Barcast has inflicted here. He's done more damage than Raider has, even though Raider's had more metal, more energy, more army. But Barcast has just used all of his units more effectively and has been able to deal more damage due to it. That was such a waste for Banish's shot. Scout just laying on the ground, just like, yeah. Really want to kill that thing. Now this could be a problem if it did continue just driving straight forward, but surprisingly, Raider again turns just straight around, and Barcast barely has anything in the center whatsoever and is going tech free. Out of interest, what does Raider know? He knows there's something in the middle. He doesn't know what it is. And Barcast may be able to get a good scout here due to those fighters flying over. He knows there's some decent build power and E-converters and even an anti-nuke. I don't think Barcast has it when it comes to air control, though. First Tech 3 makes his appearance. Now, don't get me wrong, Shivas are great, but you got to remember Shivas are vulnerable to EMP still. So, Barcast kind of, well, maybe, I don't know if this is definitely what he was trying there, but maybe his plan was to whittle out the shurikens so that his opponent had no more shurikens left for when that Tech 3 made its appearance. Ooh, that was a pretty close trade, but that Banisher will just come in now and go plop. Grunt's just trying to find some value here, being more scouts than anything for Barcast right now. Tech 3. Has the Tech 3 been spotted by radar? Does he know it's there? He just sees dots right now. So no, he doesn't know necessarily. He hasn't received any notifications about it, at least. Now he has. So radar will have now just gotten Tech 3 unit detected. Now the question is, will Barcast be able to stop this push going for his flank with the 4 Tech 3 that he happens to have? He's not moving them into position in time. If anything, he may be having to walk these guys up here. Can they even go up there? They can. There is a fusion up there and plenty of Tech 2. Barcast desperately rushing his Shivas up there to defend. Half of this force will get wiped out and the Banishers and Tsars retreat, but there's still 10 Tigers marching down to the back line of Barcast. Oh, the Tigers stopped. That fusion will definitely die. Yep, takes half the Tigers with them. Question is how much damage can these Tigers get? He could choose to split them up here to get a bit more damage elsewhere. Shurikens are about. Barcast not moving these Shivas. He's just letting these Tigers get away. Oof, this did not need to be anywhere near this much damage. Raider has gone Tech 3 as well, and we can see the first Shivas rolling off that production line very, very quickly. Look at the mini-map just like zooming by, and Barcast losing a tremendous amount of wind power here just because he didn't position stuff in time. And now the problem is, what happens if these go around the back? Barcast being pressured from the center now as well. And to be honest, these Shivas not able to make the impact they needed to. And just look at how many Raider already has. Tremendous amount. He actually reclaimed his Tech 2 factory, as we see here, in order to actually get the metal to build that quicker. Whereas Barcast is only just doing that now. And those Tigers that were at the top are still going. And just look at the metal a second difference now between the two players. There is no way Barcast should be able to pull off a win, but we've seen stranger things happen. So who knows? Who knows what could happen? Biggest problem for Barcast is he has no air superiority whatsoever. The Grunts here just trying to soak up some shots. And so far it's working. First Shiva to fall is Raider Shiva, followed very quickly by a second raid of Raider Shivas, but the rate that they're coming off that production line does not bode well for Barcast. He needs to do a lot more than just kill a couple. As five fresh ones have just rolled off the production line and are already at the front line, with another 5 more very quickly behind. Barcast still with, as we quickly switch over, 3 Shivas just here still mopping up these Tigers. Like, they really need to be making some form of impact. They're not doing anything at the moment. Barcast desperately just trying to keep his base alive, keep these Shivas alive. Fortunately, he doesn't really have spare build power either to just heal them up quickly. Meanwhile, all of the wrecks are still going to Raider here. Does he have vision? He has radar, yes. I don't know. Raider quite easily has enough Shivas here to push through, but instead he's delaying his push here as he moves more Shivas down on the right-hand side flank. And now also producing demons. I mean, this just shows how far ahead Raider is. He's on his third Aphis. Bear in mind, he's not even converting all the energy that he's making either, because look, he's only got 8 for 2 Aphises. So he could be making even more metal, but still. He's also only gone 2 here for 4 fusions. So definitely has plenty of energy, and if he loses wins, it's not going to be a big deal. But I think this Demon Shiva Force will be the straw that breaks the camel's back, as that will push through and quite easily just go like this. And that will be the end of Barcast. Now, Barcast is attempting to do something maybe on the top here with these 3 Shivas and a Tsar. But realistically, what's he going to do? He's going to push through this. I mean, if he got the Aphis stack, maybe. But if he does it, he needs to do it quick, because he's literally got like a minute or 2, I think, before it's GG. Now, he is building a catapult, which if his opponent just stands off him like this, that will work quite favorably. But with the demons making their march in, I don't think he's willing to wait that long. Oh, the shurikens come in. Barcast is making his move. Shurikens come in. Fighters being sacrificed to the air gods in an attempt to try and keep this army pinned down as long as possible. But it is not enough. Barcast does not even oh, there we go. I eat my words. He killed a Shiva. I think he actually killed 2 more there, but still not enough, as the demons make their appearance in the base of Barcast. There goes the fusion. The tech-free factory gets melted. The D-gun from Barcast manages to save the day. Will he be able to D-gun this? No, he kills the GG. Okay. His front line collapsed as well. Well, very well played. Barcast seemed to be on the defensive end pretty much the entire game. And I think that was just where he struggled, unfortunately. He wasn't able to inflict any damage. And that attack round the back of those 5 tigers that did manage to get round, I think inflicted quite a lot. You could see like kind of like a drop off of where energy was hit, and he just never really managed to get back to it. But it is what it is. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to do all the YouTube malarkey, and I'll see you all next time.